Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Mount River Duel between Shadowheart playing as 9th US and he's going up against notmjblair playing as 4th Polish. So we'll cover the deck reviews and then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game, and as always timestamps in the description. So this is the deck review for Shadowheart and he's playing 9th US once more. And basically this deck is almost identical to the one I covered in this video here, rank 17 with Wacky Deck. So if you want the full deck review, there's no point in me repeating myself for 18 minutes. You can just watch that. The only change I've been able to identify is that the Humvee CV has been swapped out for the M577 CV, which was one of my recommendations. So basically, before there were 8 CVs, which is a lot. Usually you don't need 8. And you've got one, 2 wheeled ones here and 1 tracked one. And so I said, well, why not swap out the Humvee for 85 points for this M577 for 40 points? And then you can just open 2 CVs at the start and that will, you will save 90 points by doing that instead of buying 2 of these. Oh, well, I suppose you could buy 2 National Guard leaders, but that would, you would still save 40 points, which is, 2 of these small supply trucks. Like, it does matter. And so it's great to see that he's followed that recommendation. So if you want the 9th US deck review, just this game will be linked in the description. It's a good game. It's worth watching. They all are. Every single game on my channel is worth watching over and over and over again with your ad block turned off. And he's going up against notmjblair playing 4th Polish. So when this div came out, it was perceived as being like really weak, but it is meta. And, like, what does the word meta mean? Obviously, there'll be somebody in the chat talking about standard. What does the word standard mean? But anyway, what does meta mean? Well, basically, this div is played all the time in tournaments because a lot of, so like 20th Polish is better, but 20th Polish always gets banned. 20th Polish is basically always a first ban because it's just ridiculously broken. And so people pick 4th Polish, which shares a lot of the similarities, that being the funny honker super speedy ones, although I've noticed he's not max vetted it for some reason, doesn't want them to be speedy, I suppose, and BWP ones. But yeah, 20th Polish is better, but this is a meta division in that it gets played a lot in competitive play. And what is meta? So what is standard? Anyway, that's a joke I can't be bothered explaining. Basically, people were talking. The Broken Arrow guys were talking about Russia being OP in the press beta before it even came out. And then the community manager made this really long-winded post where he was trying to explain to everybody what meta meant. And he said that actually there's another word called standard. And so that there's like the standard play as opposed to the meta play. And anyway, the reviews keep going down. Must mean it's a better game than Warno, right? Anyway, WD-40 Jeep, so CV wheeled, CV wheeled. So that's 5, 6, 7 CVs, which is fair enough, I suppose. I mean, it's a lot of CVs, right? You could go for, like, you could just get rid of this. Well, then you'd only have 4. It's interesting bringing this one. I don't know about that, really. Most people go for this. You don't actually have, like, a cheap option. Because the thing is, either way, you probably want the tank CV. So if you're always going to be bringing that, then, and if you only bring this and that, it's only 5. So I guess it kind of makes sense to bring 7. 5 is the absolute minimum number. You can survive on 5 CVs, but it's better not to. And yeah, so you could swap this one out for this and have one more CV, but you don't need, like, I mean, 8's already a lot. 3, 4, 5, oh, 7's already a lot. You don't really need 8. Then for supply options, we got a big truck and a small truck. That's the way to do it. I mean, those are your only options, actually. So, RT, you'll note 2 cards of supply only, right? So you can't have a lot of RT if you're doing that. So he brings the mortars in a car. He doesn't bother bringing them. So you should always bring it in the Scott too, because it's armoured and it's still wheeled. So it actually gets to the front line faster, and it'll save you from counter battery if you load up into this because it's got 1 top armor, whereas this has less than 1, which means actually damage is multiplied against it, and it's a little bit faster off road, so it can get out of the way faster. And it's got a gun and so on, so it's always worth bringing this in the Scott 2. Then we've got the 152mm howitzers, which, because you don't get the self-propelled ones, right? The tank division gets the Dana. You're stuck with this. So, yeah, I mean, it only comes in this transport. But you could give it a Scott 2 as well, right? I mean, because you've got... I don't know if the Scott 2A actually does it, because that's got the seat icon. I missed out the entire infantry tab. That's got the seat icon, and this has the prime mover icon. So yeah, maybe there's a Scott 2 somewhere. Anyway, the infantry tab. So the idea is that this is... So the infantry for 40 points is just normal. It's not like the Czech ones, which are 35 when they should definitely be 40. But these BWP ones are ridiculously cost efficient. I recently read a post saying I don't see anybody saying that these are OP. It's like, well, he clearly doesn't watch my videos. It's literally, I say this every time I see it. This is 25 points for an ATGM, a Grom, 3 armor, PKT, 10 HP, mediocre optics. Like, it's just really stupidly cost efficient. So if you compare it to the M113A3 Dragon, you just see how ridiculous it is. So for the same price, I mean, what? Wake up! Wake up! Anyway, so yeah, the idea is to get as many of these out as possible. You can buy 4 in a minute. I'm not saying you should, but you can. Sadly, you only get 2 cards, so you're forced to bring other things, such as the Paichota Z-Mech, which he should be bringing in the BWP one as well. I don't know why he isn't. Like, if he wants it in a car, like, oh, I really need car infantry. Well, you got these in a car. I guess the kind of the idea here is that if we just get our calculator up really fast, if this is in a car, then you can buy 4 of these in a minute, because it's 5 points more, right? Or you can buy like 1 of these and 3 of these, or so. It doesn't matter. You want the BWP one. You shouldn't really be buying 4 infantry in a minute anyway. You should be mixing it up with your tanks and so on. And then, yeah, Paichota's SVD. So the DMRs are always worth bringing if you can. It makes it really good because this is like 4 rifles. One of these is like 2 rifles. That's 4 plus 4 plus 7, which is 15 quick maths. So 15 shooty power. Very nice squads. No Commandozi's a bit of a weird one. Really useful squad. Very decent squad at shooting people. So I'm not sure... Well, because it's got smoke and stuff. That's basically the main advantage. So I'm not sure why he doesn't bring that, especially if he wants to, like, heli spam and what have you. And instead he brings the 7.62mm PKMs, which is... Okay, I mean, they are good. It's just I don't really understand why you'd need them. If you've got all these Scott 2As running around, that can defend a front better than this, because it's got more range. Obviously, this will take 4 tank hits to kill or whatever, and this will die in 1 tank hit. But yeah, I don't really think you need this in this situation. But what else would you bring? I personally would bring the Commandozi in the Mi-8T rocket, and then I've got 6 more rocket helos at 2 vet. And then he's got the Reese, which it's alright. It's got a 6-second reload time. There's a Scott 2, so that's what you put with your arty. Swap it out for the Scott 2s as soon as possible, so you can move it better, and it'll survive counter battery better. And he's not got his Sapezi, which is my favourite unit. And he's not actually brought any satchels. Right, okay. So anyway, the problem with these is they take ages to reload, and so if they're at no vet, then you just get suppressed immediately. So you got to be, if he's going to do it like this, he has to be very, very careful. He has to always have a regular infantry unit way out in front and let that get shot at. I honestly don't think you need this on this division. I don't understand why it's there. You've got plenty of infantry to, you know, fill squads, fill slots with, right? You can just put this in a building. What is this for? You've got really cheap infantry, really cheap line infantry. I don't think you need this. So, I personally... So basically I'm going to put the satchels in this tab, just looking at it. So I would put the Commandozi here in the Mi-8T rocket, and then I can hit people with loads of rockets, and I've now got some Special Forces infantry, which ain't half bad. I mean, there's like multiple types of Commandozi, but these aren't so bad. Arty we spoke about. Then, yeah, so this tank CV, very sensible to bring a tank CV. Then the T-55 AM Meridia. So this is, you know, it's actually really cost effective for 130 points now. Like if you go up against like an AMX-10 RC Legion, whatever, not the recon ones, the regular ones, you will just win 10 times out of 10 because he'll hit you and do 3 damage, and you'll hit him and do about 7, even though your pen's low. So it's very cost effective. And, you know, like the fire rate went up. The fire rate used to be less, but Pact isn't allowed to have bad equipment. So it's... I prefer him to Leopard 1s now. So, yeah, that's good. And then he brings 3 cards of 2 Vet T-55As. So these are also stupidly cost efficient for what they do, especially since the fire rate went up. So yeah, you want to spam these out as much as possible, which is one of the reasons why this deck is so good, because you get 3 cards of them. And then this is the coffin launcher, so you use this just for the coffins. So there's no point getting this one because you get 1 fewer. I mean, it will survive a tow too, and this one won't. And it's got smoke, and this one won't. But as long as you're careful with it, you know, it shouldn't be in a position where the enemy can even see it. And then the BRDM2 Conkers for sneaking around the side. Like this used to be green, now it's yellow. That doesn't make a difference to its actual stats, but yeah, it's much more useful than the Maryutka one because it deals 3 more pen. So that's worth paying 15 points for, basically. Recon, so basically, this is one of the reasons this div's so broken. What the hell is he doing, man? This is one of the reasons why this div's so broken. The Honka Reese with Special Forces goes like super fast, but what you're supposed to do is put it at max vet, because it makes this go even faster, and you don't need more than 4 of them at the start, so you definitely want that at max vet. Then we spoke about this because he doesn't have any satchels in here. You can bring the satchels in here, or you can swap out the Commandozi for the Saperzi, because this is really good because it's got AT and satchels. So it's very effective for 50 points for what it brings. And you put it in the Scott too, and this would go where this Commandozi is. This is just a BWP1 again. The advantage of this is one is that it's got mediocre stealth. But it's like, well, you've got these if you need that kind of capability, so I don't think this is worth bringing over getting those satchels in somewhere, so I think this is a better idea, bringing these at 1 vet. The reason he probably brings those at no vet is because he just wants it to sit in a bush and shoot Maryukas at people. BRDM2 is useful. Basically, you're choosing between these, so you can pay 5 points less to get exceptional optics. So that's the one you want, obviously. But you do lose 1 availability, and the gun's slightly worse. But the exceptional optics is well worth having for 35 points on a wheeled chassis with good stealth. So I'm not sure why he brings that one. And then this is very deceptive. This one deals more damage than this one. Because 4 PKTs just deals more damage. Obviously, it's got less range, right? The advantage of this is that, especially at 2 vet, you fire 1 volley and it should kill the enemy transport. But if they're paying attention, they'll unload, at which point you want the one with the higher DPS and higher availability and 20 points less. So you obviously want this one. AA. Wahey. So this is another kind of swing and a miss here. So the Strellas, I do like bringing manpad, so I think that's a good idea. And at 1 vet, that makes sense to me. The Scott 2 AP, I used to sort of hate on it, because it's actually got less ground range than the regular Scott 2, but it is actually not so bad against helicopters and stuff, for the price. Then you want so I've seen people bring this one and it can work because it does actually have 5% more accuracy. But basically you want these so they can shoot infantry. If the first 5 OSAs didn't do anything, the next 5 aren't going to do anything either. So you just want this so you can shoot loads of infantry, and then yeah, with the OSAs, if you want to be bad against infantry, you can bring these, but you should definitely be upvetting them because you definitely don't need 10. I mean that's 1,450 points worth of OSAs, which is 5.5 minutes of income, so 5.5 minutes of just buying OSAs. If you're in that position, you lost a long time ago. So I'd just bring 1 card of OSAs, and I'd bring this one so it can shoot at infantry, right? You can even bring it at no vet. I would just bring it at no vet, actually. Yeah, you want as many of them as possible. Just shoot all the infantry. Or you can bring this at no vet. It's a bit better against the infantry, but you lose 3 availability. So, you know, in essence, to get the same stats, right? You're paying 10 points more for the Strela 2Ms, which sometimes do come in handy. But for me, I bring this to shoot at infantry. Helis, so the idea here is people buy 4 of these at the start, so that the Strela 2Ms are all in a big long line, and they do a heli rush at the start with these. I mean, he obviously brings the autocannon ones, but yeah, just look it up on the War Yes damage calculator. This has about twice the DPS of this, which is pretty silly. And yeah, so Kokons, Phalangers, and the autocannon thing for the opener. This got added in the last patch, in this patch, didn't it? You can now get an AT plane on this div, like a MiG-21 BIS AT plane on this div. It was in the dev log, but they've not made the picture for it yet, but there it is. So this one's way better. And you've got this AT plane, which is very nice, cluster plane and HE plane. I'm not sure what the... I mean, it fires from really far away. If it was 3 availability, I think it'd be worth bringing, but it's only 2. And this one's like a medium altitude one, so don't bring that. This is a dive, and you might... so it just dives right on it and kills it, and you'll be thinking, Hippie, how am I supposed to tell? You can't. You just have to play the game. Bit dumb, isn't it? Anyway, let's cast the game. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the map. I believe red is on the good side of the map because you get these 3 grain silos, which give you nice coverage. Particularly this one gives you great command over this area. If you can put a Conkers in it, or a tow in it, it's really useful. Milan 2, less useful because of the less range. Because a Conkers or a tow can hit them when they're here, whereas the Milan can't, basically. So I prefer being on the red side. There is a case to be made that like the blue side has a better chance to attack Papa at the start, something to do with the roads, but I don't really see it personally because like okay, this unit's back here, and this unit's back here. The only weird part is that yeah, if you queue up a unit to here as red, it will just come down this road and die, so you got to be quite careful there. You got to queue it back here. And these 2 roads aren't joined here, which does kind of mess with the path in a bit. They start going around this way as opposed to just cutting across here. You cannot see that in this example. In terms of the matchups, they're both pretty competitive divisions. 4th Polish still has the stigma of being kind of weak, but top players play it all the time, especially in tournaments, because 20th Polish, which is a better version of 4th Polish, always gets banned in tournaments because of how absurdly broken it is with the honker thing, which 4th Polish also gets. So this is like a budget 20th Polish. So 9th US is also a strong division. It gets played less often in the tournaments, but actually no, it still gets played in the tournaments. So yeah, they're both tournament divs. Overall, which one would I prefer? I'd probably prefer 9th US personally, but 4th Polish is a lot stronger than people give it credit for. In terms of the deployments, we've got notmjblair here, and he's put his honkers at the wrong veterancy, so they won't be as fast as they should be. If they were at max vet, they would definitely get these positions first. They're at 2 vet, so they don't go as fast. Spoke about this in the deck review, which you didn't skip. But he gets 6 instead of 4. So we'll see how that works out. Then he's got Helo Rush. So this is the standard way to play 4th Polish. You open with all four AA Helos and then Recon Helos in front. He's brought, in my opinion, the incorrect Recon Helo. So the one with 4 PKTs actually has a higher DPS. Like, it's almost twice as good than, or it's about twice as good than the autocannon one. The advantage of the autocannon one is because he's double vetted it, so he's only got 2. The advantage of the autocannon one is that, you know, if you get, I say, well, lucky, you know, if you hit them in the first volley, right, then it should just kill the transport. So if you're against somebody who's not paying too much attention, you can kill the transport before it unloads, whereas the PKT one won't do that. It's got higher DPS, but it's not in volleys, right? And it has, well, it's a lot worse against armor. It's a lot worse against vehicles, so it wouldn't have that advantage. So yeah, he's got a big heli rush, right? And then the honkers trying to take mid and alpha, so he really wants to close this game out quickly. A jet to protect his... I'm pretty sure they changed the logo of this. Like, it used to look different. A jet to protect his helos, and then Pychota SVD, sorry. ATGM, the unspeakable one. Surprised he's putting it in there, because, like, well, okay, never mind, it does make sense, because this is too close, so you just get shot, so it's nice to be, if you take this, right? And then a Merida tank and a WD-40 Jeep for India Papa. And then on the right, we have one BRDM2. So he's putting a lot of faith into the enemy not coming down here. I must add, I don't watch these ahead of time, so who knows? But I'm noticing things. So, switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got Shadowheart, and he's opening with some helos of his own, but they are, you know, they're just recon helos, and he's trying to rush with these recon helos. So on the left we've got, so basically these have got the Cobra gun, but it's got even less ammo, so it will run out within a minute. But it's a very nice gun, actually. I mean, it's a 20mm autocannon basically. So, but this is 3 pen and this is 2 pen. Anyway, these have AA missiles on them. The Strela 2M, which is apparently the same Strela 2M you get on the ground, except when you strap it to a helicopter, it gets 60% accuracy. So, and it changes into a different missile logo. Anyway, so we got the super speedy snipers. So these are more than a match for the honkers in terms of their speed, because they actually just go at 120. These go at way more than 100, but we don't know exactly how much more because it doesn't actually tell us. And nobody's bothered to do the test yet. I should probably do it, but I can't be bothered like everybody else. Maybe if we get enough channel joiners. Anyway, sniper coming to here, which is very ballsy because there's nowhere to fall back and you'll just die, in my humble opinion. Here would be nicer because then at least if there's somebody shooting you, you can just hide behind the building, right? And you can still get good vision. Obviously, you can't see all the way down there, but do you need to? I mean, they're coming this way anyway. Yeah, but let's cover the stuff on the left first. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So, speedy sniper going to here, and then presumably you'll get into the grain silo because farmers can see further than atheists, as you can see here. And then we've got grenade launcher vehicle. These also go at 120, as does the TOW 2 one. It's just they have recon deployment instead of airborne deployment, so it starts further back. A regular Cobra, so you can see the Cobra gun there. You'll note that the Cobra gun... Oh, it's because the CV's upvetting it. And then we've got the light rifles Dragon, the National Guard M60, and then the cheap CVs, so it's good he's using the cheap CVs that we spoke about in the deck review, because you can just buy 2 at the start. It's so useful on maps like this and Black Forest and Urban Frontlines and Vertigo. It's basically just always useful. So this one's going to Ligma and then into the middle, and this one's going to Bravo and then Alpha. On the right here, we've got Steve Jobs, and he's sniping his way over to this building. And we spoke about the guy in the middle. He's backed up by Toe 2. Oh, okay, I see. So the sniper gives the vision and the Toe 2 shoots. The thing is, this has very good optics anyways. So it doesn't make too much of a difference, really. And then we've got Grenade Launcher, Light Rifles Dragon. And then a VADS 20 mil. That's an interesting spot for it. Well, I suppose you could just hide behind here if somebody bad comes along. Basically, you want to be in a position that you can very quickly get into cover. So I'd put it like that. I mean, it's not a big deal, is it? And then a Light Rifles Dragon going into the zone. In that case, this should... Oh, no, I see why he's done that. Because this can actually shoot further down. Because if you put it here... I guess you can't shoot as far down the road. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Whatever. If it dies, it dies. And then the CV. So let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. I thought that deployment looked a bit slim. Here's an F-16 Eagle. F-15 Eagle, yikes. I'm sorry, guys, I'm just not sleeping properly. Anyway, channel joiners, they're the guys keeping the lights on around here. But thank you all for watching the channel and so on. That is the least lucky Eagle of all time. Wow. What? Oh my gosh. Okay. That's not supposed to happen, but they do get the videos early, and they get members exclusive videos as well. So that completely changes the state of the game now, because MJ Blair's one survived, and yeah, Shadowheart lost his 275 point super plane, and now none of these can be contested. Whereas before, if it had killed this, it could start coming in from the sides and just start hitting these, because they only do 4 damage, so they'd have to hit you 3 times. And as they split up, you know, you can just basically pick them off from the side. Don't charge straight into it like a moron. So that is really, really bad news. Anyway, you see the power of that autocannon if your enemy's not paying attention there. And he just immediately has to buy another plane. Okay, that's very aggressive on the helos. He's just running into the Strelas and dying. That wasn't ideal, really. And this got hit as well. So yeah, really bad RNG for Shadowheart here. It's looking not great at all. I keep saying him. I assume he's a bloke, but obviously Shadowheart is a girl in Baldur's Gate 3. I just assume that any Discord person who messages me who claims to be a girl is just a Mossad agent. It just makes things so much easier. Or the tax man has come for me. So that's the power of the 50 cal. You see, he just one-shot that vehicle and killed everybody inside. So that is the power of this quickscope, right? Super good unit, but if you lose it, then it's not so great. So, looks like notmjblair's Blair's got mid, and he's got this zone here. He's just pathing that in there now. Light Rifles Dragon take out the honker. And this grenade launcher vehicle will make these light rifles win this fight. The VADs could be moved up. You'll note that he unloaded the VADs to kill one of the Gvoizenigs, and he got it. So that's all good. You'd expect, so what is this, 1250, that's 1400, that's 1400. Okay, he has woken to the fact. And now the honkers can just get in all over the place. But you'll note that Shadowheart has taken the Oscar objective as well, so they won't be too far behind. VAD's paying dividends for not moving. Light Rifles Dragon needs to move. I don't think he's going to make it, frankly. He does not make it. But yeah, imagine if that Eagle hadn't died to the plane, which is like 100 points less. This would be going very differently right now for Shadowheart. In the meantime, grenade launch around the side, which I do agree with. And looks like notmjblair is not aware of how far Shadowheart has come in here, because look at where he's trying to spawn his units. He's just sending them straight in, so it's in for a bit of a rude awakening. Sniper being moved over to the right, and yeah, I was going to say, like, so if you're blue in this situation, basically what you want to do is make sure you don't lose Bravo, sort this out, and then start pushing from this side into X-ray, and that should do it. Because Bravo's a +2, right? But there's literally nobody in there anymore, because all this has been brought into here first before sorting out Bravo. But I mean, that's fair enough, I suppose. It's not the way I'd do it, but I mean, this is also a +2, so it's worth thinking about. And it does mean that you have less to defend if you're literally just playing like this. So, F-16's back out, and you see the Strelas are out of ammo. This thing's also out of ammo. The jaw thing just gets killed by the Scott 2AM, as we spoke about in the deck review. And this is going to be +2 to notmjblair once this finishes capping. So that's not ideal. And you'll note that the F-16 is just clearing stuff up now. So he needs to kill this one as well. Is it on the ground? No. Okay, down it goes. And here you go. So WD-40 Jeep doesn't react in time to the M60s. But like when this one died here, he should have known something was up, really. So he could have sent this the helo that was there. You'll note that this is out of ammo now, so it can't kill this. But how is he to know he'd buy another helo? It's not optimal to do this if there's an enemy plane shooting down all your healers. So, yeah, I mean, so far so good for notmjblair, right? I mean, he's lost Oscar, but in exchange he's got Bravo, and this is a +1, and this is a +2. The collapse on mid's going to be interesting. So this Merida should be able to stop all of this. The 50 cal, though, is just going to slowly kill that unspeakable one. But nobody can kill the Merida, so Vad's getting shot there. And you'll note that the grenade launcher's doing some decent damage, but surely this just kills him now. Because this can't shoot helos, unlike the Broken Arrow one, which is pretty funny. There's like a Broken Arrow 40mm grenade launcher that can shoot at helos, and the bullets, I suppose they're not bullets, I suppose they're like shells, I guess, on grenades. So they explode in midair. But one wonders, like, how does that work? Has it got a proximity fuse on it, or what? Like, how does it know to explode? Do you have to time them? Do you have to program it in or something? Anyway, this was that plane from the start, so imagine if this was dead instead of alive, you know? It would be so dead right now. Or it might have been this one. I mean, obviously they all look the same. And it survives again, so, you know, so not great air RNG for Shadowheart, but at least they didn't lose that. And you'll note that they have bought the plane for the Merida. So I did wonder if that was going to be seen as worth it. But they sold the Humvee on the VADs, so now that's got to crawl all the way over there. Light rifle laws have been deposited, and you'll note that the 9th US Infantry is very good. So this is 60 points for 10 men, this is 55 for 9. This has a better RPG, but it's dead now, so I guess it was who's laughing now. Anyway, the very good AT plane got killed by the one OSA and the one Sidewinder missile on this Su-22. So that's not ideal. But I think it was just kind of chilling out, right? Probably should have evac. It was probably going for this, actually. So you see the power of Shadowheart to just miss everything. So that's another 6 missiles with 1 hit. These are like the best, second best short range missiles as well. So this should be evac now. It's out of missiles. Trying to use the guns, I guess. And the VAD's showing the Scott 2AP who's boss. This is now going to be gone for a very long time. So that's the risk you take. And this WD-40 Jeep should have hidden behind this actually instead of trying to, you know, because that would have broken the LOS if he'd gone behind here. Having said that, probably wouldn't have lived too long, so another bomber out. Oh, it was going for that juicy target there, but it's found a juicier one because Shadowheart is blobbing. And he will lose all 3 infantry units, which is a good thing, because people need to learn their lessons about blobbing. So yeah, the VAD takes out the Mi-24D in the meantime. Sniper's probably going to start shooting at that gas. And I think Shadowheart's done a good job of sorting this out. Honestly, I think notmjblair bought too many planes. Although the other side bought planes as well. But if he just kind of bought a bunch more ground stuff and put it in here and secured here, he'd be in a much better position than if he'd bought those 2 bombers. Having said that, the triple kill on the light rifles was impactful because now there's nobody in here again, but there's no infantry to deal with it. So Merida gets hit by the Dragon 2 side shot there. And yeah, the grenade launcher's kind of being wasted a little bit. You do have to scout, but they are just kind of running into the... Oh, this got fixed. So this just used to have... This used to have 6 Mayukas, and then it got nerfed to 2. And then they put it back up to 6, so I guess that makes sense. Or was it 4 before? Anyway, it's got 6 now. So yeah, this is a nice unit. I can't remember which unit it comes on. I think it comes on the ATGM, the unspeakable one. In the meantime, Red struggling to know where to commit. He just keeps buying these helicopters, and the jets just dive it every time. And the Osas can't help him. So, not sure why he keeps doing that, actually. The Aquila is going to go down. The Scott 2 AP was shooting it there. And the Strazalo, which is Polish for washing line, that takes it out. So, the sniper, as you can see, is very, very difficult to deal with. Very, very difficult. I mean, I think 45 points is still too cheap, and now a TOW 2A for over here. So this is a well set up position from Shadowheart. The only thing I'd say is that this should probably go hide somewhere. Because, like, yeah, you've got the AA, you've got the AT, you've got the Recon, you've got a bit more AT now. Next step for me would be an M60 tank. And maybe a Stinger. But... yeah, first things first, you need to reinforce Bravo, because those 3 infantry units just went down. Got to watch these return routes, because that's going to get stolen now, and that's a 40-point swing. You could have got 20, now your opponent gets 20. 20 plus 20 is 40. Well, I'm so smart. After losing his helicopter to the VADs, notmjblair has decided to send in the same helicopter again, and it sadly doesn't make it there. So, yeah, more lessons being learned. So surely this should be going on the VADs. The TOW 2A is important, and you might get the CV for free on that, actually. But, yeah, so that's why you move the CV. So that was an impactful kill. I personally would have gone for the VADs. But I suppose the helicopters are all already dead, so it doesn't make too much difference. Taking out the TOW 2 probably makes more sense in the short term if you're attacking right now. So, Eagle's up. And that's the other thing, yeah, you kill the VADs, so you still got planes to cover. Eagle just kind of flying over the whole map here. You see the power of these drones. He lost one, he just immediately bought another, because they're quite cheap for what they provide. And that flew right past the camera. So this has like a 50% evasion modifier, which isn't on the stat card anywhere. And so that's why this thing is missing so much. But it does eventually get it. If you just fly in slow circles around the AA, it will eventually hit you. So the VADS is in a good spot now because, it basically the infantry comes past this. Because if it was out here, the tank could shoot it. So having it in the edge of the forest here means that as the infantry comes in to take the zone, the VADS just shoots it. But it's out of ammo. There is a supply here, but it's out of position. So could be getting more shooty off there, but I think it's too late now. So that's not ideal. Eagle going in on this guy. Will this guy win again against the Eagle? So, a bit of a miss micro here. Shadowheart should have brought the other plane around. That would have been a guaranteed kill if he'd done that. Instead, the Eagle does get hit by the MiG-23MF again. So that was not ideal. Although this gets cleaned up, and now he should get this yet another helicopter. It's tough when, I guess, because he brought the 2 planes out, and he figured, I've got the 2 planes out, so I can use the helicopter, I guess. But that was not sufficient. In the meantime, Shadowheart's infantry purchases are definitely infantry purchases, and they are infantrying all over the place. Scott, TOW 2A is getting hit. Light Rifles Law, probably not going to make it. The grenade launchers are pretty cool. I think the Scott 2A is better. Well, this is better against infantry, but this is better against vehicles, and and it's got 2 front armor and so on. So he should just be fighting that, but instead he's running away, even though he could shoot it. I guess this light rifles dragon was coming round, so that would have been a concern, because then the Dragon 2 could get you. So more Osas purchased here. It's pretty rough for 4th Polish if you get overextended and find yourself losing the air war, because the Osas don't have the range, and your fighters, they're all right. in terms like cost efficiency and so on, they're pretty good, and they get 3 per card, which is great. But they obviously should lose to an Eagle in a 1v1, although we haven't seen that this game. I believe, yeah, he's only got 2 HE bombers. He's just been, you know, using them, basically, and they haven't been dying. So, more blobbing going on here. Somebody's blobbing, so that's 4 kills this time. And an unknown amount of kills here. So, yeah, you don't... I mean... Every time, until you learn, basically. That should be the tagline for Warno. Anyway, this guy's just constantly missing everything. And you'll note, did you see there that he pressed stop? It's one of the few people who actually does this properly. He pressed stop and he turned off auto cover. Okay, he's got that off by default. So basically, if he had just kept it on attack move, as soon as it left the range, the missiles would have just gone off into space. And if you have auto cover still on, they will prioritize seeking cover over keeping the missile going. So you got to be careful there. MP vehicle goes down there. And yeah, Shadowheart has been on a +2, but just losing so many units to these bombers. So the FA-16 does get a side shot off on that, sorry, rear shot off on that T-55. And the second one, already suppressed by the death of his brother, gets routed now by the M60. Which you'd expect to win this fight, but not by much. Well, okay, against the Merida, I think the Merida would win, actually. I'm not entirely sure. I have to see it. So Merida's got more armor, but 1 less pen. And I think it has less accuracy and lower fire rate by 1. Anyway, AT playing on the prowl for this M60. M60 can survive a TOW 2 hit, but not a 30 AP missile hit, so it needs to smoke. Apparently the grenade launcher was more important. I think... Sorry, the grenade launcher vehicle. I think that was because, it's just going to shoot the first thing it sees, and for some reason... Because he was right-clicked onto that. So playing just sort of flying over the middle of the map is never really what you want to do with these things. So he does go down there, and he should have known that, and now he's flying another one over them. Come on, really? And well, hey, look who's back. So, yeah, not great for Shadowheart, just losing 2 planes in 2 seconds there. Sort of unnecessary loss, especially because he knew about these 2 OSAs because they shot him back here. So you got to think, well, that was on the resupply road. Where's that going? It's probably coming down here. So you can't just fly over the middle of the map over and over again. M60, determined to die, has dodged all these missiles and is now driving into the enemy. Wow. It's just not his time yet. And you'll note that these just keep coming back up. They just keep coming back up. So the idea is you just leave an F-15 out on patrol. Also, you buy a couple stingers for over here, right? So there you go. The M60 finally dies. And yeah, so like it was looking really good for blue. He'd just retaken mid. And now in these last few seconds, it all just seems to have fallen apart. He lost his tank. He lost his grenade launcher thing. He lost 2 very good jets, and he lost a bunch of infantry to bombers. And the red units, they just keep coming. The BWP-1s are starting to be purchased now. Surprised we didn't see those earlier, given that they're the better ones. The Cook V's in a good spot there. You see how fast those go. This does double up as an ASF, because it's got, sidewinders and 30% ECM. It's actually more than this. And these actually have more accuracy than this one. But yeah, red's on that +2, and he's about to get the +100 over blue that is necessary for a victory. Thing is, CV is dead, and blue CV's in here. This needs to reverse. This needs to unload. And the AT plane, okay. So the VADS is putting the work in, but you really need a stinger up here. All that T-chat thing, right? The M60, of course, is still there. And it's shooting at the infantry instead of the BWP-1 because of the way the targeting mechanics work in this game is all messed up. So basically, if it had killed this, it probably... okay. 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 So there's the Eagle And now hopefully he doesn't just fly over these Osas. Right, so he's clicked left. So that's good. Osa's just kind of chilling out. I mean, if this moved up here, it could actually kill him. But I don't recommend moving this up anywhere. Although, you know, it should be in a position where it can use its max range. So here it can't. Right, so you do actually want it there. So the Vadening. It will run out of ammo again soon. I mean, this has put in so much work, this game. He's actually called Polish. That's hilarious. Because obviously his opponent is Polish. Oh, incredible. So yeah, the main thing to be careful of is just make sure this doesn't die to that, right? And there you go. Now he can shoot the Osas, which are just kind of hanging out. Not sure why they're just kind of hanging out there. But yeah, this apparently thought the gas was more important than the second Osa there. And now it does have to reload for 12 seconds, but it will definitely kill at least one of these. It's just because it might miss the second one, right? But you'd expect it to hit both, to be frank. So Helo's firing. There goes a Pycho Zedmech. And they don't have smoke. It's kind of the important part. And there goes another Pycho Zedmech. And this needs to run away now. Because if it dies, that's a very expensive loss. Okay, so Mr. 35% accuracy here hit him, apparently. And the Osa got him too. Gonna see another plane go down here. No, he survived, but yeah, if I was notmjblair, sorry, if I was Shadowheart, I'd be sending, you know, somebody else into here. And they are. And some AA has been purchased, which is great news. The Vads is getting resupplied. Mr. Polish is hungry for more of his brothers. Like, you see how much work they do? Like, the old position of here was, like, a really good one. Might want to buy a second one, actually. So, bomber out there. Two guys next to each other, so they go down. But the T-chaps, one of them hits, but the other one doesn't. So, +2 for Shadowheart now. But could be more with this, but you need AA. You need AA. And the issue with the T-chaps is that they can't move around so much, which is why I prefer the Stingers. And I don't know if we've seen a single Stinger this game, because the Stingers you can run with your infantry, and they are slower, actually. 18 kilometers an hour instead of 24, but they can hide in buildings and stuff, so I do like them. So he did lose a Toe Cobra here before to this Osa, which has not moved from this position, and so he sends the second one in. Thankfully, Collazo here has a preservation instinct, unlike his commander. So, cluster plane, and you see it's coming in on the edge here, because he knows these T-chaps are here. Hopefully. And here you go, so here's the Merida. So, same price, right? But, okay, same price as the regular one. This is a reservist one. It fires a little slower, but it's got more armor. And it's got less pen on the gun. They have the same accuracy, but the Merida has better motion accuracy, apparently. And it's faster, and they're the same price. So, I don't know, I think this could do with being 5 points more, frankly. Maybe, I don't know. I'm turning into him, aren't I? So this guy should really not be fighting on 1 HP, but there it is. And yeah, like a Cook V back here would be so useful. Obviously the Humvee tow's there, but the Cook V back here shooting all the way down that road would be so useful. Yeah, I think Blue's kind of underutilized this, right? You could have dropped another infantry unit in here and just sent it over and just shot everybody on this road again. Like, it was cool with the grenade launcher, but you can just... There's nothing stopping you from doing it again. So yeah, this guy needs to turn off cover and hide behind this building. Okay. And yeah, look at this. Red not bothered to reinforce this at all. But the T-chaps, they're towed, and the vehicles that are transporting them keep being sold, and so they're just kind of stuck in dumb positions. So, well, okay, positions that no longer make sense. They weren't dumb at the time. So, look at that Cook V. Look how fast it is. Imagine if you had one of those back here. This would be dead, right? Anyway, this guy on his dumb walk around, like, so basically if he'd just gone from here to here, he would have been fine. And if he just hid behind here, he would have been fine. And if he just hid here, he would have been fine. But instead, he sort of went, like, round in a circle, and that just gave the enemy loads of time. Cluster 2 sadly gets killed immediately there. It must have been 2 shots, 2 hits or something. So yeah, looks like MJ is going to take this back, but he doesn't. You know, this is basically reset now, and mid is in Blue's hands. Just needs to move up and take the rest of this, and yeah. So you see who's winning that time, but obviously this has the advantage and so on. So the BWP1 goes down there to the Cook V, and these need to be moving, because basically you want to artillery or plane those basically whenever you see them. Same with the sniper teams. Oh, coffin launcher's finally on the field. That's cool. So AT plane gets the Scott 2 because it's just kind of chilling out in the corner of the zone. You want to hide these things behind buildings. And then the T-chaps are still there. Not notmjblair. He must have run out of RAM or something, and he just kind of forgets. So yeah, I mean they're pretty good, right? They used to be a lot more expensive, but yeah, these haven't moved really. So I don't know. I guess it was kind of desperation play maybe. Eagle just kind of chilling out and flying over the enemy so it can try and get this presumably, and that dies as well. Lots of planes going down to stuff that they don't really need to go down to, unfortunately. And, yeah, so he flies back over the AA, but this time they don't hit him. And these need some supplying. There is supply here, right? And they need to move after they shoot. That's very important. And this needs to smoke, or he's going to die. He's chosen death. Maybe not. Seed out now. And this won't actually fire the seed if it's right-clicked on something. Like that. So that's not great. When it's evacing, it can fire the seed, but if you right-click this plane, it will not fire the seed missile. And if you right-click ground target, it will not fire the seed missile. So you basically have to kind of like... So if you're going for a helicopter, you got to leave it until the last second and then dive it. But if you wait too long, it misses it, right? Because it can't get down in time, it just goes over. So there's a knack to it, as with so many things in this game. The T-chap trying to move up here. And yeah, so like this would be a situation where you just walk forwards and just see what's there, and there's actually nothing there. If you're blue in this case, so there's the Cook V, although it's too late for that to be useful now because it'll get shot by tanks. So I guess back here could still work. Or you can always use it somewhere else on the map. More guys all standing around together. See how many kills this time? Probably 2. Yeah, so 2 kills there. This one might die, though. No? Okay. So yeah, don't blob. And basically what you want to do is always have an eagle just back here circling, and that'll give you more air optics, which gives you more time to react. To spread out, usually. So the Paichota ZMech, you definitely expect to lose to all these light rifles, particularly with the grenade launcher support. And now the question is, will Blue send one of these to go to here? Because what you do is you get a tank, which seems to be in short supply of actually, and you put that, here, and then you move the infantry over. You can do it with the grenade launchers, to shoot whatever the infantry spots, but you can't do much about this, right? Ah, so coffin launcher out from Poland as well. Both teams have them, right? They're basically modeled the same, even though this is a higher caliber. It sadly just is the same. It's a shame. I wish they'd made it a little bit different. First stinger of the match. And yeah, I've noticed there's artillery here. That would be useful, especially with the drone. But looks like Red's had enough. I guess he figured, the enemy's on a +2, and he was looking to lose that zone on the right as well. So yeah, good game. Sorry I'm such a negative Nelly. So this is Shadowheart rank 105, and this is notmjblair rank 110. So very similarly matched players. 2,000 games total, 300 games total. So there you go. That's the Hippie dividend right there. You watch Hippie videos, Get that tier 4 channel membership to get your games cast at a rate of 1 per calendar month, so you can improve. Then you can win with, you know, what is that, like 7 times fewer games, something like that, 6 to 7 times fewer games. Just a shame about those planes flying over the AA over and over again. So you got to give them orders at the back of the map. Just shift, right click, right click, right click, right click, and just drag them in lines at the back of the map. Otherwise, they'll just sort of fly over people. And obviously, it's way easier for us to sit there with our perfect vision and say, "Oh, he flew into that AA." But generally, the idea is if the AA kills you there once, you know it's there, or it shoots at you once, you should remember it's there. You can get into the habit of doing that by just hitting F1 and clicking whenever you see the AA shoot, and it'll pop a flare on it. Sadly, the flares don't last very long, which is a shame. There's no way to make them last longer, but that will at least, by doing that action... So basically in Japan, they got this thing where they like point at planes, they point at trains. The guys on the trains, they like point at them so that they can remember that they're there. I'm not making this up. They point at like the signs before before the train goes. They have like a checklist of things they need to do, and they will point at them, even though they obviously know what to do, and it just stops them from forgetting. Anyway, that's enough of that.